Monday, October 13th. I got a lot to go over. I released the Steve Kress interview. Tons of positive feedback. It is long. We'll go over the top 5 things that I learned. We will go over the people who got liquidated on Friday. We will go over everything on Friday. But there were people, and I don't know if they were asking for sympathy, but if you got liquidated and your account is now zero, there was some dude who made $10 million and he got liquidated out. Come on. At some point, risk, reward, you take some money off the table. What happened on Friday, we'll go over the full timeline, biggest movers today, because you're seeing the rebound. We will go over the exact sectors that are coming up, because this week, probably a super important week, because we start earnings week. And remember I said last week, what's the one thing that can derail this? It wasn't a tweet. It wasn't China. It was earnings. So if earnings don't hold up, expect this to continue down. Doesn't mean that Friday wasn't the greatest buying opportunity in October ever. It just means that, hey, we got to temper this because the market is a little bit stretched at this point, as most people feel. So let's go over things, okay? You can see the candle. This is the 4-hour algorithm. It got you in at 580. Okay, this is QQQ. This is just, and if you look at a weekly chart, we haven't had a down week since August 25th. There was not one down week in the month of September until the last month, and the last week in the month, and it wasn't bad, but the indicators have not completely reset. And yes, last week was down 3.11%. You have to go back to April to look at a down week that's down that much. That was down 4%. The next week, up 7%. The following week after that, up 3%. The following week, up almost 1%. The following week, up 2%. And then you get into the down 1%. But again, we are still in an upward trend. Nothing changed. And I released the Steve Kress interview. This is an hour and 20 minutes, somewhere in that neighborhood. It is a long interview. If you want to listen to it in sections, I suggest Spotify or Apple Podcasts. That's where I put it out. I did put it out for free, so you can listen commercial free on Substack. That's usually just for paid newsletter subscribers. But if you wanted to listen to this commercial free, you can. We'll look at that. But I want to first go over, what's the 5 things that Steve went over? Well, quant over gut. Steve's system removes emotion. Again, a lot of the tools that I use, they remove emotion from your trading. It's just data. It's outperforming traditional analyst picks. The theme, he builds portfolios based on ETFs. He went over it at the beginning. He took like Kathy Wood's our ARK ETF, and he just breaks it down, does his own portfolio. And then he winds up just putting, buying some of the strong quant picks, and buy when others panic. Steve explains why the biggest gains come from buying top-rated stocks during market dips. And yes, Friday was a dip. Focus on forward revenue. He goes over. I know Peg in the valuation sector of the quant. He goes over what his favorite profitability, momentum he kind of describes as well as growth. And he goes over dollar cost averaging. I'm not a huge fan of dollar cost averaging. I am a fan of adding to your winners and cutting your losers. But it's rules-based investing. And again, he outlines it. I'm getting incredibly positive feedback. How can you find this? Well, if you go to dailystockpick.substack.com, it's the top one. But it also is in this paid section. Don't let that scare you. It is not a paid newsletter. I put it up there because typically commercial-free podcasts are only for paid subscribers, but this one's free. And if you want to listen to it, I would suggest Spotify or Apple Podcasts because they actually keep the place where you left off. YouTube will be coming later this week, but it's there. It's there. It's an hour and 20 minutes. I think it's very, very good. And if you don't remember the Substack stuff, remember, everything lives on Linktree. linktr.ee is literally right below my head. If you ever forget this, linktr.ee/daily stock pick. And so Steve delivered. It was a masterclass. Again, editing this for, 4 or 5 hours yesterday. I put it together. I learned a lot more the fourth and fifth time that I listened through it. Now, Steve's also giving you in Seeking Alpha. The tariff fears are there. He spots like the top performing stocks since April. I went over this. There's one in the second half top stocks. He goes over it. I own it. I think I'm down on it, to be honest with you. I don't think I'm up on it, but he goes over it today. It's up 4.99%. It was up 6%. You can see. What are going to be the top ones that he thinks outperforms the next for the next quarter? Because Q3, by the way, Q3 was a record quarter. Just understand, it was a record quarter in the stock market. Will Q4 turn out to be the same? Now, here's the thing. When I talk about risk reward, okay, I want to point this one out first. There's a guy. I have a friend that was close to 30 million in net worth. Has almost a decade in crypto, lost the whole 30 million yesterday in 10 minutes on cross margin. An entire decade and multiple generations he could have retired, all gone in 10 minutes. Here's the thing. This is what I talk about with risk reward. I lost more on Friday than I have ever made in a year at any W-2 job I ever had. Just Friday alone. Yes, I lost a lot of money. I'm okay with that, because I'm holding good stocks where I have a plan. Nothing in the multiples of any company changed, just the threat of tariffs. And we've seen this play out before. I'm not saying it won't go down further, but if you have a journal, and I pound this into people's head. If you had a journal and you know where you're going to sell what you hold, then you wouldn't have panicked on Friday. If you sold in a panic any of your stocks on Friday, the one advice I can give you is start journaling things. When you buy things, put your top in and put your bottom in. And if it hits those, you've got to make sure that your thesis is still in play. Okay? Because you don't want to have $30 million in net worth and go to zero. That's not worth it. It's just not. The difference in life from 30 million to 60 million is not that big. The difference in life from 30 million to zero is huge. So understand what you're putting in and what risk you have on the table. And if you need to take some off, take some off. You don't want to be this guy. Do not be this guy. And again, I don't know if this is for real. There were tons of these on Friday. And I asked one of my crypto buddies, I said, is this for real? He goes, probably. It's ridiculous that you would have that kind of net worth and you would continue to risk it. Because again, Roaring Kitty, I think he still lives in his parents' basement. That makes no sense. Somebody who goes from 30 million net worth, again, if I went from 30 million to 15 million net worth, my life wouldn't change. But again, 30 million to 60 million, I don't think my life is changing all that much either. But 30 million to zero, understand your risk. And I want to go over something. Because TrendSpider is having a fire. You know what FIRE stands for, by the way? This is extended for 1 day. It stands for Financial Independence Retire Early. I'm retired. TrendSpider helps me stay retired. I sold a stock on Friday. Not in a panic, not in worry. No emotions were ever, torn. I got an alert. I got an alert from TrendSpider because I set it up on here. Okay? This was a top second half stock from Steve Kress and Seeking Alpha. Look at this in the 4-hour algorithm. I got that alert on Friday. I exited with a 57% gain. This was, again, June 15th was his initial thing. I didn't buy this. I saw that it was trading sideways. I waited. I bought a little here. Didn't sell. Bought a little here. I'm out. I'm out. 57%. Again, you have to know what your risk is. And if you want to take emotions out of it, charts do that. Trend Spider, here you go. The sale is extended for 1 day with the top tier. And I point people towards this top tier because you get 52 training sessions in the year. So essentially, for paying for the training sessions, you're paying about $26 per training session. Name another skill where you can get a one-on-one Zoom session with a product expert for 20, and then you get the product for free. But again, it's extended. With the top tier, you save almost $2,000 on your annual subscription. And by the way, yes, it's still expensive. $2,000 is a lot of saving. But don't think that you don't save on this bottom plan. Because, the bottom plan, you're saving 50% on the bottom plan from the regular price. Is Q4 going to be as good as Q3? I don't know. If not, don't you want something? And to use a strategy like the 4-hour algorithm, which I just showed you, I specifically used. Don't you want something? Because the taco trade won't always work. Maybe we start to go down again. You better have your charts in place and you better have your tools in place because you don't want to be this guy. Understand, when I was building my net worth, okay, this is Peter Lynch. He does this. I was fine with things being risky, okay? 50% losses, they were part of the plan. In order to go from 50,000 to 5 million, you need risk in your portfolio. If you went from 50,000 to 25,000 in a downturn, that's okay if you hold good stocks. But if you've got $1 million and you go to 500,000, you better have a thesis on the stocks that you own, because $100,000 loss, that is life-changing for most people. And yes, in 2022, if you're holding the Mag 7, you went from 1 million to 500,000. But it's got to be in your plan. And if the thesis changes, then you take risk off the table. And understand, this is a chart of the crypto market. The more you learn about October 10th crypto liquidation, the crazier it is. The first crypto began selling off at 9:30 a.m. At this point, many whales were already loading shorts in anticipation of a big drop. Then at 4:30, when the market closed, again, the stock market was closed, a whale purchased $23 million of shorts. Where it gets even more crazy is that longs were liquidated at a 7-to-1 ratio to shorts. Historically high. This means the vast majority, 80% of the 1.6 million traders who were liquidated were levered long. The whales then promptly, this is an unregulated space. Understand that. It's why I only hold Ethereum and Bitcoin, and I only hold stocks. Can they go to zero? Absolutely. But it's a small percentage of my net worth. I am not getting liquidated. The overall long game wins. Because you will hear things. And Friday, you heard a lot of things. But understand, 40 years of the S&P, 7 down years. Where are you putting your money? You will lose, FYI, you will lose money on certain years. But hold good companies with good products, with good profits and good management, and you're going to win. Because we know the taco trade, we know how it's going to play out. The futures rebound as Trump downplays China rift. You saw it. Yesterday, you saw his tweet. I hope you did. Remember, the U.S. can't be anti-China because we need China to have a strong economy, and China needs the U.S. to have a strong economy. If you're going to shoot each other's economies down, you're going to shoot the world down. It's number one and number two. And that's why you're seeing China not afraid of a tariff war. Okay? Stock futures index shows this. And this is what played out. China said on Sunday, hey, we're not afraid. Go ahead and impose it. We don't want a tariff war, but we are not afraid of one. And then what happened? The total it's taco. Trump downplays rift with China. He just said she had a bad day. He had a bad day. That's literally what he said. So again, the U.S. needs China. The China needs the U.S. Will there be rockiness? Yes. But when you see this, understand the taco trade is in because he knows that he can't push China too far because you'll go back to those April lows. And the prediction markets are saying chance of Trump-Xi meeting is still good. And it's going to happen because remember this, the meeting will soothe Trump's ego. He can declare victory. He can get in there with Xi and say, yeah, we worked on this. This is what we got. We're now getting ready to move and we're stronger than ever. And he's going to repeat everything that he says. So the buying opportunities are there. The biggest stock movers on Monday, BMNR, this one was down like 11% though. So it's not like you're totally up on this. For me, it's a buy and hold. Nvidia, again, China market gonna open up. Hey, Nvidia is gonna get to sell more. Tesla's gonna get to sell more. Apple's gonna get to sell more. Marrow Holdings, Argan. This one sort of after JP Morgan upgraded. I think it's an alpha pick or something. So again, by the way, if you want to see alpha picks, Steve shows you his screen of alpha picks. Just so you know, it's in there. So if you're interested in alpha picks, you can go and sign up for it. But if you haven't signed up for it, go and watch this. Steve literally shows his screen. He opens it up. I can't show it. Literally, if I go over here, I'll get yelled at right now. And I may get my my affiliate thing removed. But Steve shows it. It's in there. If you're ever interested in alpha picks, again, I think Argan is an alpha pick. I don't know. But Steve shows it. So if you've ever been interested in alpha picks, you can go to my link tree. Okay, you can sign up for alpha picks or just go and watch this. Steve shows you his screen. He shows you the biggest winners and the biggest losers in the portfolio. And again, Dan Ives is out there. He's Webbush. And you damn well bet I'm going to buy large cap tech. And of course I'm buying large cap tech. Given that mindset, Ives mentioned the large cap companies such as Nvidia, Microsoft, Palantir, Meta, Alphabet, Google, and Amazon are companies that are benefiting from the AI revolution. There's plenty of others. And crypto's moving. This guy gives a great explanation. It's 2 minutes and 50 seconds, okay? This is why I want to put 10% of my portfolio, and again, percentages, whatever your comfort level is. But this is why if the money printer grows 8 to 10% annually, meaning money printer, the Fed is literally printing money, and the S&P returns 9%, it's just treading water. Earnings are just treading water at that point because your dollar is actually earning less. That's why you want Bitcoin, because Bitcoin isn't levered to the government's printing. But that's why you want it. So let's go over some other areas, okay? Crypto power is the key. Daniel Newman's putting it out there. He gives you these names. Data centers estimated to utilize 12% of US power by 2030. At 2023, they were only using 3%. They're going to 4 times that. Guess what? Your electricity bill is going to go up, or they need to produce more power. One or the other. And who benefits from that? NEE, CCJ, VST, VRT, CEG, OCLO, LEU, EOSE. Choose your winners. Do your research. Understand what they do. Another thing that's going to win are the rare earths. You're hearing all about rare earths. Trump says, well, rare earth is California because it's got coastline. It's not. The rare earths are actually just stocks that create these magnets and minerals. Again, there are plenty of others. MP, USAI, and RDR, they're rare earth producers here in the U.S. Multi-mineral producers, Sam outlines it for you. Here are the names to research. There will be other MP style stocks, okay? If you look at MP, let's just go and look at a chart of MP. because the 4-hour algorithm got you in here at 19 back in May. We didn't even hear about rare earths back in May. And then by July, you were up 62%. Got you in here at 43. And then here by, let's see, August, you had 55% gain. You had one little downturn of 6%. Is this one stretched? Well, let's go over and look at MP, because MP is the one that's been a winner because Trump has basically put U.S. money, government money into this company. It's got a 13% short interest. You bet that's pumping it up. Its 52-week range, 15 to 84. It's a hold in the quant. Why? The valuation is stretched. The profitability is stretched. Wall Street, they think it's worth $77. That's where it's trading right now. So even though the U.S. is putting money in here, can they produce more? Well, sometimes you're just at a max. But the Pentagon is saying they're going to spend $1 billion in critical materials to stockpile to counterbalance China. That's a big, big deal. That's going to be $1 billion into companies that produce those materials. And Shai is putting it right out there. The next round of names rumored to get equity stakes or direct funding, current exposure to Intel, MP, lithium, and TMQ for mineral. Here's the next wave. Choose your fighter. Do your research. That's all you have to do. I'm not in, full disclosure, I'm not in any of these names. I'm not in any ETF, but I have missed out on these, and I will miss out on a lot more. But I'm just putting it out there. This is what my research tells me during this podcast, and I think I should probably get into these, but I don't understand this space. If you do, start doing your research. Critical mineral stocks rally on U.S.-China tensions. MP materials and U.S. rare earth lead the gains. MP is up 8%. It was up 8% on Friday. So again, understand what you're looking at. Silver is soaring. We're talking about gold all the time. Silver soars to decades high in gold in squeeze. This talks about the squeeze that's over in London and the liquidity problems and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. While gold's reaching new highs, silver is in a short squeeze. It's at all-time highs too. You're seeing a lot of stretched things out there. Okay? I still like IREN and CIFR. I still like these. There's another chance to buy them. Did you have your chance? Well, we can go and look. IREN, look at those two red candles. FYI, you're up 6% in pre-market. We can go and look. IREN right now. I like this one. Again, I bought this on 8/18. I like it. I think I bought it before that. Yeah, I may have because I made 10%. I'm holding through earnings. But yeah, it's up 6%. Down 6%. You had your chance to buy it under 60. It's 52-week range. It goes up to 70. It's trading at 63 right now. CIFR. You know, and again, this is all about power, and it's about compute. CIFR is up 5% in pre-market to 17. 52-week range goes all the way up to 20. 10% upside if you get to the 52-week high. Again, are you buying for a short term, a long term? Use your charts. You know, IREN, 4-hour algorithm hasn't gotten you out. Got you in here at 17. This would have paid for your TrendSpider subscription alone. The buyback here in April, did I buy it? No. But I saw this pullback and then I saw it coming. And yes, August 6th, I said, maybe I want this one. I did. I went in. And I went in big. CIFR, I don't have. Understand the charts that you're in. 4-hour algorithm got you in as CIFR back here on August 13th. Same thing. You're up 300%. These things can soar. You want to be tied into Twitter, the social, and the retail traders. Okay? Blackstone. The next big thing is chips. Duh. Data center and power. Shai is giving you supply, VST, CEG, OCLO, CCJ, LEU, and EOSE. Demand, Nebius Iron, Cypher, Wolf, CoreWeave. He's literally giving it to you, and Blackstone is out there telling you it's going to happen. So are we in a bubble? Absolutely, we're in a bubble. But you can make a ton of money in a bubble. Again, if you got out in 1997, remember, I was 30 years old when I was trading this. If you got out in 1997, you missed 98 and 99. It's not like you got it, you oh my God, I got out, thank God. No, you missed 98 and 99. You had time before you got back to the 97. So you want to be in this. Now, I haven't read this weekend because I was busy editing the Steve Kress interview, but the Catalyst Watch, let's look at this. It gives you the volatility watch. U.S. Rare Earth and Rigetti. It tells you, hey, if you want to trade, these are names that you can trade. Political Watch. FYI, the U.S. government is still shut down. Just so you know, we've got a couple of IPOs. You got dividends. Okay. All day Monday, Oracle is going to hold its flagship conference. That's huge. 4-day Cloudflare Connect. That's AI and cybersecurity as well. That's huge. Tuesday, we've got earnings starting. Albertsons, BlackRock. We'll look at earnings up next. Citigroup, Domino's. In fact, here on Seeking Alpha, I can go home. And by the way, when I pull up earnings, I can go down here, earnings calendar, upcoming earnings on my stock. I have a personalized earnings calendar. I love that. So I know exactly what's going on in my portfolio this week and which ones are reporting. I know Goldman Sachs is reporting. I own it. I know Wells Fargo is reporting. I own it. So I know that, and I know what to look out for. All day, Microsoft will end its Windows 10 support. Is that a big thing? Maybe. I don't think so. Wednesday, you got more earnings. Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, all of that. It's earnings week. So you can see it's earnings week, and there are a lot of other things. And on Friday, TwitchCon begins. The event holds some relevance for investors, particularly those interested in digital media, gaming, creator economy. It's Amazon. Amazon owns Twitch. And by the way, Amazon has done nothing. Year to date, you're down 1%. It's a strong buy in the quant. This, I don't understand how it's not going up. People don't like it above 220. 52-week high, 242. Wall Street thinks it's worth $266. So I don't know what's going on. But here, if you don't have Seeking Alpha, just go over to Earnings Hub. Set yourself up your own little earnings calendar, and you can look at it. It's nice and easy, and you can bet which ones. JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, ASML, Bank of America, Morgan Stanley. We got United, Prologis, which is warehouses, Taiwan Semi, Schwab. You got Bank of New York, Travelers, Interactive Brokers. This is going to be a great one because FYI, Hood, which I own, I want to add more. If Interactive Brokers does well, guess what's going to do well? It's going to be Hood. So understand what you hold. Understand what you own. We are going to be way up today. QQQ just passed 600 again. But it doesn't mean that again, all things are off. If Trump puts out another tweet that, hey, the meeting is off, expect this base of 583 to hold. And that would be where I would start adding. Now, I'm going to add as we start to move and we start to move. But again, I point out the weekly charts are extended. Doesn't mean you can't still run. Doesn't mean you can't go sideways until Black Friday. Because if we see a great shopping season this year, Q4 is going to be phenomenal. If you see good earnings this week, Q4 is going to be phenomenal. And most of the buys that I do are not short term right now. They are for a year out. And we are in year 4. We just entered year 4 of the bull market. The other times, year 4 was up double digits 3 out of 4 times. So if we have another couple of years, again, you want to be in the market. Time in the market beats timing the market. And should you have sold, when you get over $1 million, that is a lot of portfolio to manage. When you get over, 500,000, managing a $20,000 portfolio versus a $1 million portfolio is far different. And a lot of these guys with 100% gains, they are younger. And they are putting a lot of risk on the table. There were a lot of guys on Friday who said, yeah, I'm hurting. Were you? Because if you had good quality stocks, you weren't hurting. It was an opportunity. And did you buy on Friday? Because again, if you had identified good stocks and they were down 5 or 10% and they were in a list of, hey, if it's down 5%, I'm buying, no problems, no questions asked. Again, have your lists available. Here in Seeking Alpha, they let you set up portfolios. It's unlimited, I believe. I have a ton of them. And I create them a lot, and I go through and I just delete them when I don't need them anymore. There are 3 lists. One where if it pulls back 5%, I add no questions asked. Didn't hit any on Friday. There is another one. If it pulls back 5%, I add no questions asked. 10%, I add no questions asked. Didn't hit any of them. Another list, if it pulls back 15% or more, again, I'm looking over time. Not just one day, but I'm looking in the downturn because I have these things set up on charts with alerts. Hey, if this gets down 15% from here, give me an alert. If this gets down 10% from here, give me an alert. And I set those up regularly. So I don't have to sit here and look at charts. Work smarter, not harder. Have the tools that are available to you. Remember, TrendSpider is on sale. But you've also got the ability to get premium and alpha picks together. And if you don't want to buy alpha picks, just go and look at the screen because Steve shows it here. And you can get a free 7-day trial of Seeking Alpha Premium if you want. Everything's on Linktree. Go and explore Linktree. See the offers that are there. If you like them, take them. TrendSpider, even on this sale, you can get a $9 2-week trial. That's less than you'll pay for a burrito. Go and try it out. But again, if you have any questions, even my email is up here. I will answer your questions, whatever you need. I won't give you stock tips because that's not what I do. But if you have other questions on any of these products or my newsletter or even Webull, join Webull and get up to 75 free stocks. I've got Webull. My Webull account that I was touting was up to $14,500. Let's look live. It was in Ethereum and Bitcoin. And we're now at 13.9. That went all the way down to 13.5, I believe, on Friday. So again, I can't trade these. I'm in the ETFs. So it's not like the weekend I'm doing any trading. But if you have any questions, hit me up. I may talk to you tomorrow. I may take tomorrow off. I am going to the Monday Night Football game. So if I see you, great. If I don't, have a great Tuesday. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell, my heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears.